Hello and welcome to another fiery edition of the Headless Hammerhead Guide to Comic Books. Well, I know that the creators of the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game wanted to keep the math to a minimum with this game, but my big boss was killed in one shot this weekend, and we replayed the fight and it happened again. So this problem is systemic. So, I was talking with one of my players, Logos, about some of the issues we ran into during our first adventure, the prologue to my campaign, An Ominous Arrival. Although it made for a very dramatic ending to the adventure, having my boss be killed in one shot by Wolverine stabbing him in the gut, it still left all of us a bit worried about future bosses in the campaign, because the big boss fight, that's what you look forward to, that's what you work for throughout the whole adventure, and you expect it to be this grand event that should last a little bit longer than just, one turn. So, looking at the mechanics of the game, and a warning here, I'm going to get into quite a bit of math, so I'll try to put it up here on the screen as best I can, and hopefully you can follow along. Message me if you can, or leave a comment. Alright, so damage is calculated based on the character's rank, making for a scaling amount of damage dealt, increasing as the character ranks up, because your damage adds up to the multiplier. HP, however, is calculated by multiplying the character's resilience by 30 with no regards to rank. So the possibility of 0 or even negative resistance does exist, especially for goons, civilians, and lower street level heroes, especially because of the limited amount of points that you have to spread across your abilities. A hero can start with 90 HP at rank 1 and never change across the ranks. Their resilience can stay the same. It can stay at 3 all the way through rank 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Meaning this character's HP will stay the same at 90 no matter what rank he is. Even as he goes from street hero to a cosmic character. But this is not something that the core rulebook addresses. I guess assuming that the narrator would have some kind of house rule, or just simply make the minimum HP 30 for significant characters like goons and Hydra agents or whatever, and much lower for regular TikTokers. But this presents a problem. So as this hero's damage increases, as well as his opponents, he still handles damage as if he were rank 1. Even if he is now rank 6, a cosmic being. So that's kind of a problem. As we saw in my adventure, Wolverine can pack a punch at rank 4. And the same blow that one-shotted the Mandarin would actually take 2/3 of Dormammu's HP, which is ludicrous to think. Now, I can't take the credit for crunching these numbers. My friend Logos did it all himself. But we went over it and we went a little bit back and forth. He crunched the numbers, threw them back at me to see if it would work with my campaign and my campaign goals, and I would tell him whether it was going to work or not. So he figured that scaling with a multiplier of 1 per rank just doesn't work so well, especially because villains are going to be facing off against a group of heroes, a team of heroes, and if it's one big bad, he's getting ganged up on. And a multiplier of 1 for rank 6, because there's so few ranks, that's the main problem with the system, is that the ranks just go from 1 to 6. Had it gone to at least 10 or 12, would have been a lot better. But in either case, scaling with a multiplier of 1 per rank does not work. So a much better formula would be 30 times times a resilience plus the rank squared plus modifier. What that does is it does an exponential growth between ranks, because you're squaring the rank, and as the rank goes higher, the multiplier goes even higher than the prior rank. So here's an example. I know this could sound a little confusing, but here, Dormammu, let's say, would have 30, right, which is the standard number, times a resilience of 5, plus his rank, which would be 6 squared. 6 squared would be 36, plus any more modifiers, which would be 10. So 30 times 5 plus 36, which is 30 times 41, plus 10 equals 1,240 HP. This may sound like a lot, but bear with me here. If you compare to Wolverine, 30 times a resilience of 5 plus rank 4 squared, which is 16, plus modifiers, which he would, let's max it out at 10 here, would be 640 HP. Now that's about half of what Dormammu would have, which would make sense. Dormammu hits really hard, and he could take the hits. So let it sink in for a little bit. Either rewind or pause the video and think about it for a little bit. Now, onto the damage though. Yes, Dormammu does hit hard, but the damage actually ranks up in a linear fashion, which means it's a multiplier of 1 per rank. The damage would be, say, for Wolverine, times 4. For Dormammu, it's times 6. It's not that big a difference unless you get a fantastic roll, and then it doubles everything. So there it makes a bit more of a significant difference, but still not enough, because in realistically in the comics, Dormammu could blast Wolverine in one shot, but not the other way around, right? So this system that I presented here presents another problem. If you take a battle between two cosmic beings, such as Thanos and Dormammu, it would take all day. Because, as an example, Dormammu, let's say he gets a 12 with a fantastic roll, times 10 plus 4 is 124 damage. If, say, Thanos has HP of 1200, this battle would take all day, because it seems like it would take 10 rounds at first glance, but that assumes every single hit is a fantastic roll and doesn't take into account healing, evading, damage reduction, etc. So it would take at least quadruple the number of rounds, about 40 or more, so all day. And it would still take Dormammu several rounds to take out just Wolverine. Imagine a team of heroes, which is just ludicrous too. Now, if we scale the damage in a similar way that I presented here for the HP, we could look at the following example of a rank 6 character. So with nonlinear scaling of damage, as well as HP, we would have, with Dormammu, let's say he rolls a 6. So we'd have 6 times 36 plus 4, which is 40, plus a multiplier, 8 times 2, which is 16. So 6 times 40 plus 16, you're looking at 256 damage from Dormammu on the one hit. And on a fantastic roll, that would be 512, which makes a lot more sense against somebody like Wolverine, who would have 660 health. Now you're looking at something more plausible. He won't one-shot Wolverine, but he gets him very close to death, which is more realistic, I think, and much more balanced. When you work it all out with several characters, I think it makes sense. So for us, we might implement a rule like this, a house rule for health and damage. You don't have to do it, obviously. I'm presenting it to you because when you do play, trust me, you're going to run into this issue and you're going to have to create a house rule yourself. I don't know when they tested this, how they didn't run into this problem and realize it, or maybe they realized it and said, oh well, let's keep this game simple, because I know that's what they wanted to do, but it just doesn't work as well in practice as it does on paper. Now, I know it looks like a lot of math, some complicated equations here, but when you consider you're only going to be doing it once every several sessions, because it's only once per rank, and you only have 6 ranks, so you're not going to have a campaign that's only 6 adventures, probably. So You're not going to be doing all these calculations every single time. And even with the damage, most of the multipliers are pretty static. So there's only simple math that will be necessary during a battle that you'll need to do. You won't have to go through these equations and doing quadratic equations and square roots and squares and everything else in between. So yes, it's going to be a little bit of math, but trust me, I think if you implement something similar, it's going to be worth it for you in the end. It'll make gameplay in the end a lot better as far as how long characters last, how long the battles last, how fun the battles are. Because yeah, one-shotting somebody is kind of cool, but at the same time, your characters want to use their powers and abilities. And if the fight ends in one round, they haven't been able to do that, I guarantee you. And they're going to regret that. And so will you. You look forward to using this villain who has all these powers and he gets killed in one shot. It's disappointing, man. So as always, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. That helps me out a lot, guys. Thank you so much. Send me an email if you have questions, headlesshammerhead@gmail.com. And look forward, man, I'm over 100 subscribers. I'm so grateful to you guys. Visit my store too. I have those free downloads for the random player generator tables. I have the narrator screen that I created. I'll have more stuff there as well. And if you haven't bought any of the books, the core rule book, or pre-ordered anything else, I am selling them too, and I have some pretty good deals. Right now I have 10% off each of the books individually and a set that gives you a huge discount. So visit dangerouswaterscomics.com, dangerouswaterscomics with an S.com for all of that great stuff. You can also find some comics and trade paperbacks and other comic related stuff there too. And look forward to some giveaways coming soon. They'll come real soon, guys, believe me, and I think you're gonna really enjoy them. So thank you so much, and remember,
ice cream so good. Take You Lopez. Slay, huh? Ice cream so good.
We don't bite here.